Good morning, students, and welcome back to Career Preparedness, and of course this is day 3. Dealing with the fact that it's day 3, I want to make sure that we touch base with a couple of things that we need to mention in relationship to doing assignments and taking quizzes in Edmodo. Of course, I'm not as comfortable with Edmodo as many of your teachers are, but it's very important that you understand that whenever you do an assignment that's assigned in Edmodo, that you turn it in Edmodo so that it can go in the gradebook. In addition, once you complete a quiz, I think you need to hit the button submit, and your teachers can better help you with this, possibly more so than I can as it relates to that. But I just want to make sure that the information is going to the proper place as it relates to the assignments that you're doing in Edmodo. We'll be uploading a folder each day to Edmodo that will have possible links to it. Yesterday you completed a survey related to how you felt about iPads and the fact that our school system had issued iPads to all you students in grades 5 through 12, and I greatly appreciate the responses that you gave for that. You also watched a video on yesterday in relationship to eat the marshmallow or to not to eat the marshmallow, the positives and the negatives of being able to wait to do something or being able to do it right then. And of course in today's lessons we're going to rehash that and factor into how it looks, how that goes into the decision making process and the things that you go through each day when you make a decision, and you make lots of decisions each and every day. I also want to remind you all that yesterday it was announced that if any of you are interested in going to the football game on this Friday, yet another decision that you have to make, that there will be a bus that freshmen can ride on. Mr. Shepard will be the chaperone on that bus, and of course if you decide to go and make the decision to take that bus ride, the bus will be free of charge. However, there is limited seating on that bus, so we need to get the forms turned in by 3 o'clock today so we can get an adequate count and make sure that we have proper seating for that. So that was an announcement that was made yesterday. I also uploaded a note into the Edmodo Career Preparedness group trying to make sure that we reached anybody that might be interested in going on that trip. So with no further ado, we're going to get today's lesson started, where we'll be talking about decision making, delayed gratification, instant gratification, and other items that factor into the decision making process itself. Let's begin. The overall goal of today's lesson is simply to make sure that you understand the steps that you go through when you go about making a decision. Some decisions are great, some decisions are small, but nevertheless there is a process that you go through with each and every decision that you make. Yesterday you all had the opportunity to view a video. This video depicted children who basically were faced with the choice of the temptation of whether or not to eat a marshmallow. Now this may not seem like a great decision, but with these students a great story was illustrated as it relates to a life lesson. You see, Joachim was able to basically predict whether or not these kids were going to be successful or not based on the decision they made based on what he had asked them not to do. He had asked them not to eat the marshmallow. Some of them chose to eat the marshmallows. Those were students who in life basically were not very successful. Some did not eat the marshmallows. Those became very successful. Those young people who ate the marshmallow basically depict what is known as instant gratification. These young people were not able to wait. Even though he asked them specifically not to eat the marshmallow, they did so anyway. They couldn't wait. They were basically going to face whatever consequence it was, whatever consequence came their way after the fact. Of course, there was none because this was a study. They basically illustrate the type of society that we live in today, which is known as one of an instant type of society. We want things, we want them right now. Some of that's like our food. However, some of you are very familiar with a famous ketchup, Heinz 57. Their theme is, good things come to those who wait. And that's a great idea that factors into that. Last week, you all basically entered into high school. The Heinz 57 basically illustrates the idea of those young people who had the idea of not eating the marshmallow. They displayed what is known as delayed gratification. That is putting off until later something that you could very well do today. That is also the same type of idea that as educators we want you all to understand in high school. You basically are working hard. The idea is you started your high school career during the course of last week. The idea is that as you work hard during the next 4 years of your high school career, that eventually it will pay off and you'll graduate from high school. And that graduation time will be a great time for you. However, it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's not only is it going to take hard work, it's also going to take what is known as self-discipline. Self-discipline is basically known as the ability of you to be able to conduct and carry yourself in a way that is decent and appropriate at all times. Some people might call what is known as self-discipline character, being able to do what's right regardless of who's around. A wise man once said, hard work pays off, and the idea is that as you go through your high school career, that you'll work yourself hard, and eventually it'll pay off again when you graduate. That is the idea. But that all factors into delayed gratification and instant gratification, and realizing that you're going to have to put forth some effort to be successful. When you are making a decision, basically there are several steps that you're going to go through. The first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to define what the actual problem is that you're going to have to do. Then you're going to have to identify what the choices are, what the alternatives are that you have to choose from. You'll evaluate and identify which choice or which alternative is going to be the best. From that, you'll just go with that solution, and then you'll evaluate whether or not that solution was successful or not in relationship to what it is that you choose to do based on the alternatives available. Now, I realize, just like everybody else, that you all are in high school and that we're talking about economics, but there are a lot of different things that are going to come your way, a lot of challenges and a lot of choices and decisions you're going to have to make. You'll have to go through that process and weigh out all options before you make those decisions. Our desire for you, my sole desire for you, is that you always make good decisions as it relates to the things that come your way, whether they're positive or negative, that everything that you do will be decent and according. And please remember, it's okay to say no. You don't always have to go with the group. Now, this is the end of what we were going to do today. Let's talk about what the assignment is. The lesson that will be uploaded today in Edmodo will basically measure to make sure that you have a good working knowledge of what delayed and instant gratification are. Tomorrow we'll wrap up this week, and then on Friday we'll have a measurement exercise over the events and things that we covered during the course of this week in the introduction to career preparedness. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day here at the center.
All the shorties in the club, let me see you just back it up, drop it down, let me see you just get low, scrub the ground, let me see you just push it up, let me see you just wobble baby, wobble baby.